What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as Ridemyavatar, and today we're going to go over the finals of the North American Nationals. So let's see who got top 8. Since they only showed off the top 8 list, top 16 will be probably filled in by other content creators, but let's go over and congratulations to the top 16. This is an event I played in and I got 162. Sadly, I didn't make the cut for the 128 for extra prizing, but you know what, I did my best. I made some misplays, and a video will be up tomorrow about my deck profile and everything like that. So let's dive into this video and let's see what I have for you. Chung, Brent, Ying, Diego, Jorge, Mitchell, Brian, and Dan, they all did a fantastic job in their tournament run. They did a great job, and I want to congratulate them. They worked really hard to get here, and it was really amazing to see. This is what we ended up with. Congratulations, Chung and Brent, for both being invited to Worlds and winning that invitation. So let's dive right into the top 8 nationals. This was what rankings were after Swiss, and then you can just see what happened after was really impressive. Top 8 was pretty good, and then Ying wasn't able to take it all, aka Human. Playing that Lilith loop was fantastic, but let's dive into the deck profiles, right? First off, we have Ying, his first place deck profile, and let's go over this and take a look at it. So it's a normal Gabubon's deck, no promo Gabubon to be seen, which thank goodness. I don't like that card, but we have Upamon, which is really nice, and then you also have Kirubimon in here for an added draw when you trash sources. Now you might be wondering, what sources can you actually be trashing in this? Well, Howling Memory Booster is a fact of the matter that everybody seems to forget, that maybe having this fifth baby for draw, especially early game when your opponent might not have any resources, the Upamon could be a very dead draw if it swings early. So you need to keep that in mind. Then you have Forbidden Trident, being a very nice one of tech that most is seen on and off in lists, and I really do like it because one of your Digimon gets plus 2000 DP, making it a little bit stronger. So it could mean that Ikakumon could be a very viable threat to swing in for 8k into an ultimate or something like that, killing it off, and then trash one of your opponent's level 3s Digimon, return one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to its hand. So especially in the Jesmon matchup, I could see what you could do with this is, if you have an Ikakumon and this card in your hand, you could swing into the Sistermon if they've had Sistermon out, and you could easily bounce the blocker one up and then kill the booster, and then have your Bonds of Bravery be able to swing into the Jesmon, leading into a full combo win because you just cleared the full board. Especially in the Jesmon matchup, it really does help out. You have Gabumon with the combos with Bonds of Friendship, not Bonds of Bravery, it's Bonds of Friendship. Madoke Betamon, if your opponent can't gain memory except with Tamers, just shutting down the options of Hammer Spark and Howling Memory Booster, and just leaves them with Tamers to worry about. Gabumon being able to search for the Gabumon or a Tamer does really help. It digs deep enough so it matters. Lobomon just being Lobomon, being able to Digivolve on top of the Tamer. Kendo being able to pop those level 3s and be able to Digivolve on top of a Tamer, which is really nice. So keep that in mind. That's how that plays out. Octomon is 7000 DP, which does help out in certain matchups, especially because it has a higher percentage of living. Especially even hard playing him, he's not bad. You have Ikakumon being Ikakumon, allowing you to swing into unsuspended Digimon if they have no sources, which is very common in this game, just to be able to remove the Madoke Betamons or anything else that might seem a little too threatening for you. I talked about Forbidden Trident, Gabubon's just to restand, himself, stand, swing a couple times, bounce level 5s back to bottom of the deck, and making them unreachable by your opponent is huge. Howling Memory Boost to shut down blockers or anything like that. and just to help you not die by attacks. Ice Wall, another preventative strategy. This is like basically what Stun is coming into the future with, but at least Ice Wall will be restricted to 1 in the next format, which will really help. Hammer Sparks, Cicadas Breath, Davis, and we have Sora Joe, which is a really nice dual tamer, especially if you are trashing a lot of resources, especially you just need a Howling Memory boost. But this card is more live than not because of how most decks are played this format. You slam down Gobblemons to draw, you slam down Agumons to search, you slam down, Commandramons, you slam down Magna Angemons. So it's always live and gaining you some memory, which is kind of really nice. Then you have Mad Ishida to be able to warp into your Bonds play. Second place was none other than another Bonds deck. Very similar in hindsight, but no Forbidden Trident, no extra Howling Memory boost, and no Sora Joe. But they did play the Gabumon that searches, giving them another viable target to help dig deeper. You got Upamons, Lobomons, Kendos, Octomon, and then Ikakumon, and then Bonds of Friendship. As we know, the deck is tried and true. Cicadas Breath, Ice Wall to shut down little loops and stuff like that, and any other OTK strategies, because they only get one shot, and if they miss out, they are really sad about that. I mean, that shutdown, this Ice Wall well time against a Lilith Loop matchup, you're done. The Lilithmon doesn't have any way of coming back, especially if you have a Gobblemon in raising, right, ready to go into Bonds, and they have no security. You win. You just win. So keep that in mind. That just sometimes that's how that plays out. Next, let's talk about it. Third place was Lilith Loop. This Lilith Loop was really a tough matchup. I've seen this on stream 3 times, and it's a nasty machine. The Mastamons, well timed, could trash extra damage out, which, to be honest with you, that was sometimes how he won games, was just trashing it and then getting the promote out and getting in game that final swing he needed. And that was always viable. Keep that in mind. It's just really good. I think the emergency program shutdown, fantastic tech, especially against Lilith Loops and Ice Walls, and then red Bonds decks, Jessmon decks, anything to shut down options for a turn on their side, even security control, means you're winning that game. That it just does not matter, because you'll just loop them guaranteed the following turn. You just set up, get ready for the loop, and then boom, you could just give them all the memory in the world. They can build up their stacks, but the problem is their options are shut off. So then you just go in, do your loop thing, and then boom, they just can't keep up. Win rate was huge in his deck, and I saw what he did with it. Sometimes he would just digivolve into the Lilithmon or Mastamon for free. He would use it for Zawart maybe if he needed to, but win rate was mostly there to make it so that the next ultimate he digivolved on top to was completely free. And that really, well, costs 2. No matter what, it costs 2 at the end of the day. The Zawart would have cost 4, but that's really awesome. Being able to use the Digivolves this turn, the next time one of your Digimon, you may trash one color in your trash one Digimon card in your hand with the same color as the Digi-Evolution card, Digi-Evolution Digimon, to reduce the memory cost of the Digi-Evolution by 4. So this meant, really interestingly, people were questioning why this worked, because he's the next target of digivolving on top of. It's not the color you're digivolving into that matters. It's the digivolving what you're tossing. So if this was a yellow Mastamon list, you just have to toss a yellow card, because it's when the same color of the Digi-Evolution Digimon to reduce the memory cost by 4. So being able to cost out and just digivolve on top of for cheaper is just what they needed to do. Manoa was there to set your memory to 3. Analog Youth, dig deeper, fill the graveyard for the Jack Raids, and get to your combo pieces. If you needed a Zawart, you needed a Zawart, Rebelli, Rookie, you need it, get it. So just being able to get it off the top 3 and just feel your graveyard was massive. And I saw his gameplay. He was very on point, very, very strategic. Labramon, Gabumon, just really all around great deck. And then the Ginkamons and Ginkumon, and then Ginkamon Promote, just very powerful cards, gaining extra memory, just looping till the cows came home. I really love the matchup with him. He did really well. Boy, oh boy. Another Lilith loop. So it's funny, 2 Gabus, 2 Liliths. That's how that matchup played out. You have Lilithmon, Titanmon for that extra security OTK style. Well, just an extra body that played a Ginkamon Promote and then swung in for game with extra 2 security checks. So keep that in mind. He was just another body like that. Played 1 Manoa, 2 Analogs, 2 Tinkumi Abias to help slow down the Bonds decks or any Rookie Rush style deck, just so that if they started swinging in with their rookies, you could at least keep them at bay because they would have to Digivolve up. In Gabumon, it's a little more taxing that way. And then in Greymon's version, if they had to swing with their rookie, then no, it just didn't make sense. It would cost them too much to do so. So keep that in mind. Rebellionmon to make a blocker with retaliation, so that if you had 2 blockers in there, I mean, even going against, and then you would just Digivolve into your Mega just to have it have blocker, rebellion, you know, all the stuff. You don't mind trading your Mega, and then boom, they die and you win, because now their OTK is kind of out of the water, because Rebellionmon just shuts down a lot of OTK strategies because you remove it off the field without having to worry about too much. So I really love these lists. Lilithmon loop is a very powerful deck, but sadly it will get nerfed. Now let's talk about it. 5th place was none other than a security control list based around having all delete, which I get it, because if your opponent gets way too ahead, you could delete all the tamers on the board, and that's all it takes sometimes. If you have there, as long as you have 0, you can activate this, give them 10. If you kill off the Bonds players tamers, especially if they had 3 ties up, Mats and a Davis, boom, they're all gone, 1 shot, and that's all it wrote. So yeah, Zawort defeat, especially if it popped out and then boom, that it just mattered so much in those matchups. It's really powerful. Piedmon, just delete all your opponent's level 4 lowers, just clears a board on its unsuspended, by the way, on its own, and that can really help out. Geo, Cordramon, Magna Angemon, Magna Dromon, Sayokamon, just to slow down OTK strategies. X Antibody, just to be that annoying threat that just keeps swinging and going and going and going and going, making it so your opponent has to answer him eventually is huge, especially because he's just going to keep popping 1 Digimon every time he swings, and that could mean game wins. 2 ultimate flares. Iron Fist Onslaught is just there. Black's very powerful options, and Zawart Swarmer is always a great one. Then running Holy Wave, Tactical Retreat, Reinforced Memory Boost, Wyvern's Breath, Izzy Joe, and then Salomon and Upamon. I mean, recovery package there, security package there. So it's just pretty much just how this deck wanted to roll, and I think it was a very solid list. Congratulations. Next, we had what's just basically, I don't know how this list did so well, but it's a security control. Troy Deploy. I'm okay. I love his description. That's adorable. Using TKs to check and pull, make sure your Magnadramons are out of security, because I really doubt any of this other stuff would make sense to pull out. I don't know why he's running TK. To be honest with you, I feel like TK would have hurt him more, but apparently he was just to grab the reinforced memory boost, maybe, or the Magnadramons in there, because any other target wouldn't let you heal. So I don't know what he was thinking. But you have TKs, you have Craniumon being a massive blocker that they can't remove unless they use yellow removal. I mean, Boy, oh boy. Mechanorimon being a 6k, 1k Chichurimon, especially if that pops off in security, especially against a bond player. Congratulations, you just de-digivolved off their bonds. The Digimon's going to die anyway, so it's just like, okay. Then you have Ancient Troymon in this list. I really can't tell you what went through his head, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Ancient Troymon against Jessamon, really nasty, because it shuts down any of their plays against bonds. It shuts down their plays because they don't play enough blockers for this to not shut them down. Just a lot of thought went into this, and I'm very proud of this list. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I wasn't expecting this one to do extremely well, but what do you guys think on that one? If you guys can tell me what he was thinking, I would love to hear. But I kind of see what he's trying to do: block him out, and then Ancient Troymon to stall, Magna Dramon to be annoying to recovery. But that's about it. Now we have Brian, who played none other than the amazing Lord Nightmon, taking it all the way to the tippity top here, which, let's be honest, I was not expecting this. Lord Nightmon being able to climb this high up in this event is phenomenal. I mean, it's a great deck, don't get me wrong, but we haven't seen a Lord Nightmon top since the end of BT 05. So it's like, where has this deck been hiding? Apparently Brian had the secret sauce this whole time. So you had the Bushies, the Starmons to slam down to remove threats, Pulsemon being draws, Patamons being when your opponent's Digimon is deleted, Pedomon for blocker, Gallimon to search and try to pull out a warrior to get recovery, 8mon being 8mon, 8000 DP, Unimon being 6 a blocker, enough blockers to keep your opponent at bay, especially if you get him up early enough. Your opponent really is struggling. Rise Greymon to play your tamers. Well, your TK at least, because that's all you're going to be playing. Then you had your War Greymon. You had your War Growlmon, sorry. Digiburst 2. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4000 DP. Just to start removing threats. Your Nightmons for your Lord Nightmon plays, just to add more consistency, especially when you go wider. Your opponent can't handle the ultimates coming down. Trash one in Mastamon just to help with security control and to speed up gameplay, especially if you have a Bushy Engrave. You just Digivolve Swing, boom. Sayukamon minus 3 security. Lord Nightmon being Lord Nightmon. You know, Dynasmon to help recovery, stay alive. Chaos Volderarm being Volderarm. Emergency program halt, the shutdown, security control, ice walls. You know the drill. As long as you can shut down the ice wall for a turn and option gain, you could win the game very easily. Blinding Ray, you know, Spiral Masquerade. Got a little memory boost to keep search and dig. Analog Youth to dig deeper. And then if your, you know, Mega dies some way, somehow, you know, boom, you're all set. TK being TK, making your security a secondary hand. Great job. And then we have Dan Vega, my boy. Let's see what this man piloted, shall we? We have Agumons. Man, oh man. So sadly, he loved these cards, but they were Brickfest. These 3 of text. They were the bane of his existence his last round. He needed it to be one of these rookies of the red colors just to win it. But I love the Koromon that he had and Debimeras, Madoke Betamon to shut down memory boosting and options basically that way. Gravity Crush, anything like that. Ice, Hammer Sparks, Blinding Ray. Get him out of here. Don't need him. Call it a day. Agumon Expert, return one of your Digimon with Agumon in its name from recycling bin to hand. This can't be Digivolved, but you would grab your Bravery or an Agumon you need to set up. 2-drop Agumon because 4000 DP is still threatening. Agumon 2-drop. 2-drop Agumon that gives extra boost. This is the Bonds of Bravery combo. This is another 1000 DP, which I get the difference in names, but at that point, why aren't you just playing this one? But when it attacks a player, an extra 2000 DP because you're going to pop anything naturally. Then you have Mechanorimon being the blocker to slow down any of the other Bonds players. Agunimon, you may make a Digivolve on top, and then Burning Greymon. Your turn, this Digimon becomes a 9,000 DP Digimon. It's really powerful, especially when you have to swing into security stack or just swing into a Digimon just to remove it off the board. Greymon being an extra security poker, Geo Greymon being the good friend of coming out of security and blowing up something. Bonds of Bravery being delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 13,000 DP or less. When an opponent's Digimon is deleted, trash the top card of their security stack. Then Gravity Crush, gaining 2 memory, lose 2 memory at the end of turn, which is not bad, especially if you're just going to give them 1 and then choke, you'll give them 3. Smart plays. Trident Revolver is to blow up a 6,000 DP blocker or a Digimon that might just be annoying, and then you get to play a Tamer for pretty much free. Gaia Force being Gaia Force, blow up something. Lightning Joust comboed with this plus a Demimera, so 1,030. This becomes a 8k plus the Lightning Joust's boost makes it a 10k with 3 security checks or more depending on how much memory you have, and you clear out so much. It's just so powerful, and that's why people like it. Atomic Blaster being choose any number of your opponent's Digimon whose total DP adds up to 8,000 or less, delete it. Marcus to gain that memory, and then Tai Kamiya to draw, and then warp into the Bonds of Bravery. He did not win most of the time with the Bonds of Bravery. He won most of the time with the Greymons. Just pushing out that pressure is huge, especially going in with that combo. So guys, what did you think of these lists? Let me know. Congratulations everybody that played in the US English Nationals. You did a fantastic job, and I really do appreciate everybody that worked so hard on these Nationals. We have 8 players going in to the World so far. Maybe this year we'll have more Nationals build up, because I feel like having only 2 representatives of each is really not the best way of hosting a Nationals, because that's a short Worlds, I mean, just to have. And I feel like if you're allowed to win more store championships and stuff like that, there shouldn't be that kind of way. So hopefully we get more, and I'll catch you next video. Peace.